supposed to be a stablecoin, and it didn't remain stable. Crypto is still sort of like the wild, wild west.
Yes, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin. In today's video, I want to update you, keep you informed on the latest news happening in crypto, including Kwon, including an update on Tornado Cash, the collapse of this Polkadot-Based stablecoin, the Celsius network, and much more. Like always, check the timestamps down below, hit the like button, and let's jump in starting with Terra. Exclusive. I sat down with Terra founder Kwon for his first interview since the project's $45 billion collapse. Kwon is the reason that so many businesses went bankrupt when insolvent, so many investors lost everything, and he roams free giving interviews, while just the developers, the people that wrote the code for the software, get locked up. We will get to this in a second. But first off, what exactly did Kwon say? Kwon breaks silence, saying Terra Luna was essentially my life. The Terraform Labs CEO gives his first interview on Coinage discussing the Terra failure. And let's remember how cavalier, how confident Kwon was just a few weeks before the collapse.
I wonder how many of these companies you think are entering the space just because it's hot and there's a lot of funding versus the ones that will still be here, like 2 to 5 years later.
95% are going to die.
Yeah.
95% are going to die. Yeah. Yeah, there's also entertainment in watching companies die too.
There's entertainment. Oh man, that's so evil. At least you get to learn from it, right?
Wow. So how can he justify that confidence? Kwon justified his confidence, which he now admits seems super irrational, on the market success of his Terra ecosystem. So we did have dApps being built on this blockchain, as it was inching closer to a $100 billion ecosystem. I never thought about what could happen to me if this fails, Kwon said. And by the way, this sort of cavalier attitude is sort of expected if it's your buddy at the bar talking about the latest crypto that he likes. But if it's a founder of a project worth almost hundreds of billions of dollars, I expect him to think about things like this. Now, the Terra creator does say that it wasn't just him, that there was likely an insider at Terraform Labs who took advantage of information on the protocol's vulnerabilities to profit, although he does not name anybody, but added, I and I alone am responsible for any weaknesses that could have been presented for a short seller to start to take profit. So he is taking responsibility, although honestly, probably because he has no choice. And while the paper billionaire cannot quantify his own personal losses, Kwon does describe himself being down infinite. There are probably not too many people that are alive with this type of experience, but it's like, over the past 5 years, I just lived and breathed Terra. Now, who lost the most? Is he in legal trouble? Well, Kwon said that Terra was not a Ponzi scheme, as the earliest investors were among the hardest hit by the crash, and Kwon does face allegations of fraud in South Korea, among other potential legal jeopardy. Okay, give me your thoughts on this down below. Seriously, I'd love to hear your take. Let's all check the comment section right now. And next up, we have an update, as promised, on the banning of Tornado Cash. Coin Center prepares a legal challenge to the U.S. Treasury's Tornado Cash sanctions. Now, to get caught up on the full story, what exactly is Tornado Cash, why the U.S. government just recently banned it, check out our video from yesterday, seek it out, great information. But the news today is this. Crypto's leading policy think tank, Coin Center, is weighing a court challenge to the Treasury's sanctioning of this decentralized transaction mixer. And why? Well, Coin Center argues that smart contracts cannot be sanctionable entities and that such a standard would be dangerous for coders worldwide. So should you be able to sanction code? It is just numbers on a screen. Well, in an August 15th blog post, Coin Center analyzed the contradiction of sanctioning a smart contract, saying, by treating autonomous code as a person, OFAC exceeds its statutory authority. Meaning, does the US government have the authority to do this? Well, the Tornado Cash sanctions targeted the smart contract that runs the DeFi mixer, as well as a fleet of crypto wallets associated with the coders behind the project. So both the code and the coders. But Coin Center argues that a smart contract, unlike other designated entities, cannot challenge a designation from the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, in court. So the argument here is that these coders have a voice, they will be able to fight back, but the code won't, so it should be out of the Treasury's authority. This action sends a signal, indeed seems to have been intended to send a signal, that a certain class of tools and software should not be used by Americans, even for entirely legitimate purposes. So what this means to you as a crypto investor, just know that Coin Center right now did promise that its first step was just to engage OFAC. They're just going to try and talk to them. They're not taking legal action yet. But notably, the organization wrote, "We will begin exploring with counsel a court challenge to this action. Stay tuned." So this could set a huge precedent in crypto. As I get more information, I'll keep you updated. And next piece of huge news involving Celsius, how they potentially lied on their balance sheet. But first, very quickly, next piece of news for Polkadot. Acala's stablecoin falls 99% after hackers issue 1.3 billion tokens. So a bug in the protocol's newly deployed IBTC AUSD liquidity pool, we'll go over these in a second, left a wide door open for hackers to exploit. So here are the details. The list of not-so-stable stablecoins has a new addition, as Polkadot-based DeFi platform Acala saw its AUSD stablecoin crash by 99% after hackers exploited a bug in its liquidity pool. And this stablecoin is supposed to be pegged to $1, but it plunged to as low as 0.009 cents in the early hours of Monday morning. In a direct tweet from Acala Network, they said that due to a misconfiguration of its newly launched IBTC AUSD liquidity pool, hackers were able to mint an additional 1.28 billion US dollars or stablecoins pegged to $1. The sudden influx of coins caused the stablecoin to depeg in mere minutes. And what is IBTC? IBTC is an inverse synthetic Bitcoin token that can be used on DeFi platforms and be traded with AUSD on Acala. So just like AUSD is pegged 1-to-1 to the dollar, IBTC is pegged 1-to-1 to Bitcoin. And if you're involved in the Polkadot ecosystem, what did Acala do about this? Acala paused all network trades following an urgent governance vote, and the team will start on-chain tracing and encouraged those who erroneously minted AUSD or swap tokens to give the tokens back. Interesting. If you were one of those wallets that just happened to take advantage, would you give the AUSD back? Let me know down below. And next piece of news for Celsius. The Celsius Network coin report shows a balance gap of over $2.85 billion. So the latest findings could brew more trouble for the crypto lender for allegedly misleading and offering incorrect details in the court documents. So this is wild. The latest report, filed Sunday, shows that Celsius has net liabilities, meaning what they owe, worth $6.6 billion, and total assets under management only $3.8 billion. And this is very different from what we were told originally, because in their original bankruptcy filing, the firm said they had around $4.3 billion in assets against $5.5 billion in liabilities, representing a $1.2 billion deficit. And we now know that number may be closer to a deficit of actually $2.85 billion. It actually was Simon Dixon, a crypto entrepreneur, which discovered these numbers originally. People were upset with me when I said Celsius was missing a lot of Bitcoin and they were making up numbers with fake sell valuations. They have now confirmed that they've lost over 67,000 BTC and wrapped BTC, representing 64% of their Bitcoin debt. Now 438 million of the whole Celsius has is assuming they can dump all their sell for $1. So they overinflated the value of their Celsius tokens, and now we believe there's actually a balance gap of over $2.85 billion. What this means to you is if you had your money in Celsius for lending or borrowing, it just makes it this much harder to assume you'd get your money back. If I get any more information, I will keep you updated. And that is the video. My name's Austin. Like always, see you tomorrow. Appreciate you.